You know that feeling, right? That little bit of excitement when an Amazon box shows up at your door, sometimes just a few hours after you clicked buy. Honestly, it feels a little bit like magic. But today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that magic, and we're going to look at this massive, incredibly complex operation and the paradox that's sitting right at its heart. Because think about it. Behind that one click is a whole world of planes and trucks and warehouses all working at a breakneck speed. And that's where we find the paradox we're digging into today. Our own desire for that instant gratification, well, it's fueling a system with a huge and actually growing environmental footprint. Okay, let's get into it. So this really is the core of it. Experts have a name for it, the Amazon effect. It's this expectation that we've all kind of gotten used to, that delivery should be almost instant, and it definitely shouldn't cost us anything. But that expectation, it puts this immense pressure on the whole system. And as you're about to see, it has some pretty enormous environmental consequences. Now, to be fair, Amazon is tackling this challenge head-on. And we're talking about investments on a truly planetary scale. They have this huge goal to get to net zero carbon by 2040, and they are pouring billions of dollars into making that a reality. Just look at this number for a second, 621. I mean, what does that even mean? Well, we're talking about 621 different renewable energy projects all over the world. And these aren't just tiny little things. Together, they generate enough carbon-free electricity to power millions of homes in Europe. It's just a massive scale. And this really shows you their leadership in this space. For 5 years in a row now, Amazon has been the single biggest corporate buyer of renewable energy on the entire planet. They're going all in on wind and solar to power their global operations. And that commitment isn't just about big power plants, right? It goes all the way down to the street level. So far, Amazon has delivered over 1.5 billion packages using their electric vehicles. This is them taking a direct shot at cleaning up that supercritical, carbon-heavy last mile of delivery to your house. But what about the really, really hard stuff to clean up, like air cargo? For that, they're looking at something called Sustainable Aviation Fuel, or SAF. Basically, it's a renewable fuel made from things you wouldn't expect, like used cooking oil or farm waste, and it's a huge piece of the puzzle for making aviation greener. So, how does this stuff actually stack up? Well, as you can see here, it can slash emissions by up to 80%, which is amazing, and you don't even need to change the jet engines. But, and this is a big but, here's the catch. It costs anywhere from 2 to 7 times more than regular jet fuel. That's a massive barrier to getting everyone to use it. But even with that crazy cost, Amazon is putting its money where its mouth is. Just in 2024, they've bought 3.7 million gallons of this stuff. It's a move that's really designed to send a clear message to the market, saying, hey, if you make this, we will buy it. Okay, so decarbonization isn't just about the energy that you can't see. It's also about the physical stuff that actually lands on your doorstep. So let's shift gears and talk about the second front in this effort, the war on waste. You know, the boxes, the bags, the plastic pillows that protect our stuff. Their strategy is actually pretty logical. It follows this classic idea called the waste hierarchy. So number one priority, just prevent waste from ever being created. After that, they focus on reducing what's used, then reusing things through repairs and donations. And only as the very last option do they turn to recycling. And you know what? It seems to be working. This chart shows that a pretty incredible 85% of the waste from their own operations is diverted away from landfills. That's a huge number, and it shows their systems are really starting to have an impact. You know, one of their smartest ideas is also one of their simplest. It's this program where they identify products that are already in a sturdy enough box from the manufacturer, and they just ship it like that, no extra Amazon box needed at all. It's brilliant. And they've made some huge strides with plastic. I mean, they've completely gotten rid of those puffy plastic air pillows in North America. They've cut their overall plastic packaging use by more than 16%. And now, get this, over half of their fulfillment centers in North America ship without any plastic packaging at all. Okay, so massive investments in renewable energy, a growing fleet of EVs, and a serious war on packaging waste. It sounds like a clear win, right? It sounds great, but this is where that paradox we talked about really comes into sharp focus, and it reveals a pretty uncomfortable reality. Because after all of that money, all of that innovation, all of that progress that we just walked through, you'd think the headline number for their carbon footprint would be going down. But it tells a very, very different story. Their absolute carbon emissions actually went up by 6% in 2024. Yeah, after 2 years of their emissions going down, they rose again. So the question is, how on earth is that possible? And this chart right here, this explains everything.
While Amazon did a great job reducing its carbon intensity, that's the amount of pollution for every dollar they make, by 4%, their overall business grew by a staggering 11%. So, to put it simply, the company is growing way faster than it can decarbonize.
And this brings us full circle, right back to that Amazon effect. The nonstop pressure for speed and free shipping, it just creates waste. You get failed first deliveries, which can be as high as 20% in some cities, meaning trucks have to make the same trip twice. It also creates really stressful conditions for drivers rushing to hit impossible targets, all while dealing with logistical nightmares.
And all of this reveals that the Amazon paradox, it isn't just about Amazon. Not really. It's about this incredibly complex system where our own choices and our own expectations play a huge, powerful role. It's all about the consumer connection.
And this quote from Professor Becky Brout just hits the nail on the head. Businesses are just responding to the demand that we create. That desire to one-click something and have it show up tomorrow for free. Well, that's the engine that's driving this whole entire cycle. So, what does that mean for us?
Which brings the whole question of this paradox right back to our doorstep. We're faced with a trade-off: fast, free, or sustainable. And the uncomfortable truth might be that in the world of online shopping, we probably can't have all three at once. So, knowing that our demand is what drives the whole system, the real question is, what are we willing to give up?